You don't need a big lens for wildlife photography. It's true. I've said it before and I'm here to tell you again. We're out here in this beautiful forest looking for some creatures and some critters, and most of the time wildlife doesn't really come up to you. It's usually far away and your first instinct might be to grab a huge long lens, but I'm actually out here shooting with a 135 f1.8. And there's a few reasons for that I wanted to share with you quickly. Maybe get you thinking outside the box a little bit. Primes, first of all, are known for their image quality. They've got great autofocus, and we've got a little bit of reach. It's kind of a mid-telephoto. If I throw this thing in crop mode, I can get it out to about 200 millimeters. But now we're at the point where we don't really need a ton of reach. That's just the reality. We don't need a ton of reach because we have amazing post-processing. And that kind of leads me into my secret weapon, where I can take photos that sometimes, in a lot of cases, were unusable due to bad lighting conditions and horrible high ISOs, and turn them into award-winning photos. And this secret, of course, I've talked about it before, is Topaz Labs Photo AI. This is a drag and drop program, which I'm going to show you the before and the after. It never ceases to amaze me. And you can throw stuff in there that you thought was a goner, and it does an incredible job at upscaling, noise removal, sharpening, you name it. It just keeps getting better and better. And I wanted to just reiterate that if you don't have a huge budget, maybe you don't want to carry or have the means to carry around a huge lens, something like this can go a long way at getting just incredible wildlife photos.
So here we are in the studio, and I wanted to show you in real time a tutorial of this program to show you just how easy it is. Drag and drop, like I said. I've got a few photos ready from my day. What we've got here is just a few elk photos. Now this is the photo straight out of camera, obviously underexposed here. It was very dark, it was the evening, I think it was raining. I had to shoot at 10,000 ISO here, so obviously not great to begin with. So what I did was I did a quick exposure adjustment. I wanted to up the exposure to try and get some of the details out. And well, this is what we're left with. Obviously a lot of noise, a lot of detail loss, and for the most part, this is not a usable image. So let's just go ahead and throw this into our photo AI here. What I did do here is I did a 1-to-1 crop. So what I'm gonna do is take that image and I'm going to drag and drop it into our program here. And right off the bat there, it's going to do something called autopilot. It's going to basically scan it and see what it thinks it wants to do to the image, and it's done. All it's done in this case is remove the noise. Here is the before, there is the after. You can see just how incredible that is. It's done just a great job. And again, don't expect perfection. There's got to be something good going in to get something good going out. But if you are decent at editing, you can really get a really good baseline to start your edits to improve above and beyond from here. This is not an AI program that's going to do everything for you, but again, just have a look at the difference there. If you did want to do a major crop in, you can just come up here and click on upscale, and what that's going to do is, in this case, upscale it by 2 times. The resolution is going to be huge, over 9,000 pixels here. So you can choose different AI models. You can choose if you wanted to do a minor denoise, deblur, fix compression. So that's the upscaling. If you need to maybe crop right in and then get some of that detail back, you can upscale it. The noise removal is just fantastic. Again, in this case, I think it did a really good job because it really didn't have a lot to work with here. Just a very extreme example of a before and after. And look at the detail that it was able to recover. I think that's just very impressive, a great baseline to get you going. Now we can also, of course, sharpen our image here. You got to be careful not to do everything because like any program, it can start to overdo it. It's not perfect, and you don't want to have that over-processed look. Right now, as I click on that, it's just rendering. It's going to take a bit longer depending on how many things you've chosen for it to do here. I'm just going to turn off the upscale here and just keep on the noise removal and sharpen our subject. So we can see the before here and the after, the noise removal, the sharpening. I think that's looking even better. If we get into some of our strengths here, we can kind of adjust. If you go too crazy, I just want to show you the example of maybe just going a little bit too much on the sharpening, and we can start to get kind of some weird looking artifacts. So I suggest don't always go to the max. Usually it does a pretty good job at kind of estimating how much to do. But also there are some other tools that it has here. We've got face detection, so it's going to recognize subjects, and it is going to sharpen your subject automatically. You can actually pick the subject here. So actually in this case, if we look closer, we can see that it actually hasn't done a great job at doing just the subject. So I can go in and actually edit the subject if I wanted to kind of paint in what I think it should do some of the sharpening. I'm not going to do that just for the sake of time here, but I think overall it does a pretty good job. Again, the better image you put in, the better result you're going to get out. So other than that, we've got the sharpening there, face detection, preserved text I haven't used a ton here, and that's just something, it says it improves text and retains them from getting distorted by other filters. So also the adjust lighting, this is a beta stage. It may or may not be beta by the time you get this program. They're constantly doing updates. I don't use this too much. I like to do my own balance and color adjustments in Lightroom or Photoshop. Color harmonies, we can give it a try and to see what it thinks we want to do for lighting. Give it a sec here to render. And yeah, so for me, that obviously is not looking great. I'd rather do my own in post. So for now, I think, again, if this was a better quality image, I think we would have got better results. But yeah, for the most part, for upscaling, for sharpening and removing noise, for wildlife specifically, I don't think you can go wrong here. It's relatively inexpensive. They are constantly making great updates, and I think it's just a really reasonable and great software. So before you go out and invest $1 million into gear, maybe consider improving your craft, improving your skills, using what you have, because look, you can get some great results, even though you might not be getting the best results straight out of camera. We have those capabilities, so I strongly suggest and recommend this program to you guys. Make sure you drop all your questions and your comments down below. I hope this helped you out, and if it did, hit that like and subscribe button, join the community, and like always, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and take some more pictures, guys. See you next time.